I would say that's the headline from Kyle Shanahan's press conference. The question did get asked. I was not sure what he would say. He sounds like he's going to be the emergency third quarterback.
Right.
But if it comes to that, he probably would only hand off.
Right.
Which would be, it'd be a pretty dramatic day. But he is going to get, it begged the question, well, how are you going to practice? Like, is he going to be your scout team quarterback? And he's going to get half the reps. So they're going to practice it like he's going to get a lot of practice. And Kyle, I thought the biggest takeaway today, Larry, he was adamant that 2 weeks off is no good for anybody, even Trent Williams.
I was a little surprised by that. I would think more rest would be better, but I asked that question first right out of the chute. I just wanted to get it out in the open because I kind of got the sense that question was coming, which was, is Brock going to go? Brock's not going to go. So, but also it didn't sound like he is in any rush to play Brandon Allen at all. So I don't think Brandon Allen's going to get any snaps. I think it's all going to be Sam Darnold. Brandon Allen will go in if need be. If one of those guys gets hurt or both those guys get hurt, then we'll see Brock. But I don't think we're going to see – I think it's going to be all Sam Darnold. I don't think you're going to see Brandon Allen. I don't think you're going to see Brock Purdy. And we shall see if that's a good idea. I mean, last year you needed your third quarterback to play. To me, it seems like this would be a golden opportunity to play Sam Darnold, I don't know, 3 quarters and play Brandon Allen for 1 quarter. But it doesn't sound like that's the plan. It sounds like the plan is Sam Darnold is going to get this game start to finish. And I like the idea that they're not going to play Brock because anything can happen. If he goes down, your chances of winning the Super Bowl drop dramatically. I think everybody understands that. So I like the fact that they're going to not play Brock Purdy here.
I guess it probably, if you want to play Brandon Allen, it probably complicates your practice situation, right? You don't want to play him and not practice him, but Kyle really wants to practice Brock.
Right.
So maybe that's where it complicates it. Also, Kyle Shanahan has been waiting to play a Sam Darnold 4-quarter game since, what was Darnold's draft class? Since that draft class.
Yeah.
Since they traded for Jimmy in October. He'd already been watching some Darnold film. Darnold's going to be a free agent.
Right.
He's dying to play Sam Darnold for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
He's not saying that, and I think he really wants to win this game. I don't know if it's underrated, but the game matters a lot to him to beat Sean McVay and to beat the Rams. And this game matters for the Rams in terms of who they're going to play in the first round of the playoffs.
It does. I think that's the other – a couple interesting things. One, so this practice reps will get split up 50-50 between Darnold and Purdy. So they're going to go forward this week like Brock is – they want to get Brock full practice reps. So he'll get full practice reps. Darnold will probably play every snap in the game. The interesting side is on the Rams side, Stafford is not going to play in this game. They're going to go with Carson Wentz, and that's a little bit of a surprise. And I feel like McVay in some ways may be showing his hand of cards. Does he want it? Is he playing Wentz because he wants to get Wentz reps, or is he playing Wentz because Stafford is dinged up, or is he playing Wentz because deep down they prefer to play the Dallas Cowboys and not the Detroit Lions? That might be the real reason. They may be trying to duck the Lions and play the Cowboys instead.
You saying McVay would rather play Dak than Goff than take Stafford back to Detroit?
It seems like if the Niners were to beat – first of all, I think the Niners have a better chance of beating the Rams if Stafford sits and they go with Wentz.
Right.
So if that's the case – and if the Rams lose to the Niners, they have a better chance of playing Dallas than Detroit. So my only read on that has got to be that maybe they prefer to play Dallas. I will say this, I was sitting in with Mark Willard a couple weeks ago on 95.7 The Game, and we had Jason Lockenfora on. Jason Lockenfora came right out and said, if the Rams and Cowboys match up in the playoffs, the Rams will beat the Cowboys. It's just an opinion, but it's an opinion that I also agree with. So,
better coach, better quarterback. Would you agree with that?
That the
Rams would have the advantage in coach and quarterback?
Yeah. The Rams can score 30 points a game. I just think Dallas is a team that if you run the ball well, you can run it down their throat. The Niners have done it. Buffalo's done it. I don't think Dallas has a great run D. And then Stafford against the Rams with Puka and Kupp, Demarcus Robinson, Higbee, Tutu. I think the Rams have offensive balance. If you're a team that has offensive balance and you can run the football, I think you can beat Dallas.
Dallas beat them the first time, but the Rams are a much better team than they were.
Yeah.
Dallas put 43 on them, but just looking at the numbers,
Yeah.
Stafford was 13 of 22 for 162. They didn't really run the ball that effectively. They're a different team. I thought one of the interesting things.
Dallas also was at home, and they're going to be at home again. Dallas hasn't lost at home all year.
I'd rather go to Dallas than Detroit.
Yeah, I'd rather play Dallas than Detroit. Detroit, I think, has less talent.
If you're the Niners, you'd rather play Dallas than Detroit?
I would rather play Dallas than Detroit. I think the Niners feel tremendous confidence against Dallas, where I think Detroit understands they're an up-and-coming team. They're playing with the house money. They're all about a next-year play. So I think this is really kind of like they're kind of like footloose, fancy-free. They know there's no expectations this year. Anything they do is gravy.
I know a lot's changed. This defense still would, I think, thrive against Goff, just like they did.
Yeah.
And Goff types, right?
Immobile types, pocket players.
I thought one of the interesting things Shanahan said today, did you catch what he said about Stafford? He's maybe said it before.
Said he's the best
quarterback he's ever studied.
Yeah.
Or as he's never studied. Basically, he's not studied a better quarterback, which
–
when we do our top 10, where does Brock Purdy fit in the top 10 rankings in the NFL? Does that mean you have to put Stafford ahead of Brock?
Yeah, I mean, Stafford, when he's going well, is a beautiful thrower of the football. The ball comes out fast. He's got enough mobility. I mean, he's a true blue chipper. There's a reason that Stafford was the first pick overall. And I think Stafford's really, really special. I almost feel like Kyle, when he was considering acquiring Stafford, really fell in love with the skill set that Stafford provides. And it makes me laugh, too, because there were so many people. I was on Mad Dog Radio back then, that draft night, and there were so many Jets fans who were like, tell me Sanchez is better than Stafford. And I'm like, no, dude. Stafford is way, 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 way better than Sanchez. And the Jets fans at the time didn't want to hear it. And within a year, they were all talking trash because Sanchez did play well initially, and they got to the AFC title game with Sanchez
twice, right?
Yeah, but
they would have won a Super Bowl. They might have won a Super Bowl with Stafford.
It's amazing. With Sanchez,
they might have won a Super Bowl with Stafford if they
had Stafford. Yeah. But even with Sanchez, I mean, Sanchez had some early career success, but as time has gone on, Sanchez is known for the butt fumble, and Stafford has a ring.
Yeah, you talked to somebody in the locker room today. Who were you talking to in the locker room today?
I talked to a couple guys today. I talked to Eric Harris, who's an incredible story, the former Raider. And this guy is just, sometimes I just like talking to guys whose stories are amazing. This guy went to California College in Pennsylvania, which is like a Division III school, and didn't get drafted and basically started working at a potato chip factory, and but kept the dream alive and paid $80 to go to a Hamilton Tiger Cats tryout.
Oh, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, tried out with the Ticats, made the team, eventually went to the Saints, found his way to the Raiders, earned a contract for $1 million or whatever as a special teamer, took care of his family. His wife also was involved in a very serious car crash, and she had partial memory loss and not brain damage, but memory loss. And he's just a great story. The guy's got 4 kids, and he's a story of perseverance, and he's kept that dream alive. And now he's with the 49ers. He's 33. They called him. He was active last week. He'll probably be active this week. And he's just you think of this as a throwaway game. It's not a throwaway game for everybody. For some people, this is the Super Bowl, and Eric Harris is one of those guys. And I just wanted to tell his story and touch base with him. Really interesting guy. And then I talked to Tay Martin, who I'm a big fan of as well. Tay Martin was a great wide receiver at Oak State. And
Washington State before that.
And Washington State before that. And he transferred because of the pandemic, didn't think he was going to get a chance to play, went to Oak State, really was a star player in two different offenses in 2 different conferences. And he's really a very good receiver, except you have Debo and JJ and Ayuk and Ronnie Bell and all these guys in front of him. Tay Martin has great ball skills. He's 6'3". He runs fast enough, like requisite speed, not great speed, but requisite speed. He could be a 100-yard. He could have a 100-yard day in Week 18. He's got those kinds of ball skills, and all he's going to take is one game like that to kind of put him on the map for pro personnel directors. And so we just talked about where he's at and the choices he's made. And I said to him, "Hey, look, you could have played for a different team and been on the field by now. Instead, you chose to be here, and you're sitting behind great players. How do you view that decision? Do you think about it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do think about it, but I think I made the right decision. I've developed my game. I've learned." He says he's learned a lot from watching Brandon Ayuk. So I'll be rooting hard for Tay Martin. I told him, I said, "Man, you got a 100-yard day in there. I know it's in there." And we're buddies because I've been interviewing him for the last year and a half on the practice squad. I was a big fan of his in college, so I really like talking to him, and he's a good dude. And I'm these are the kinds of guys that, it's Week 18. These guys are going to get an opportunity to shine, and hopefully they can for themselves and their families.
Yeah, it's Kyle was asked. I thought it was a good question. I don't remember who asked it, but is this closer to preseason game planning or not? And the answer was like, yeah, because they might actually play the Rams very soon in their first game, right? It might be January 20th. I talked to Ayuk today. He was shooting jumpers.
Yeah, I saw you guys.
Ayuk spends a lot of time shooting jumpers, and I was like, "Hey, you have a second?" He said, "What do you want to talk about?" And I just showed him the video of him blocking Patrick Queen in the Ravens game.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, we can talk."
Yeah.
So we talked about just receiver blocking and how he never had been asked to block ever in his career.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't asked to block in college at Arizona State. Wasn't asked to block in junior college. Wasn't asked to block in high school in Reno. And I said, "Well, what's the number one requirement of being a good blocker?" And
Desire.
basically, anger.
Yeah.
Anger. So you're angry. He said, "I'm going to start getting angry." He said he's going to start getting angry for the Rams game, watching film this week. He will start building up his anger, and then whoever he has to block on that particular play, he is angry at that person. So he, I got the sense that he thinks he might have to block Patrick Queen again. That's kind of what everybody's picking right now is the Niners-Ravens rematch. If you look at the pro, we're doing this before the Pro Bowl votes will come out at 5:00. Did you see the Pro Bowl voting?
I did.
The fan voting.
Niners have the leader in like 14 different positions or something like that.
And Ayuk's number one in the NFC.